All right, well, grew up in Florida, Panama City Beach. Grew up as a surfer there, so I've always been interested in the water. I started surfing when I was about 12. I got my first surfboard from an uncle of mine. By the time I was 15, I was both lifeguard certified and scuba diving certified. And from there, just have always had a love of the water. I think the first time I ever went to camp, I was about 10 or 12 years old, and it was at a YMCA camp. We've got a lot of springs and rivers in Florida, and it's the first time I'd ever gotten in a canoe and paddled. From there, joined the military, had a full military career, and while I was in, a lot of the places that I went, we weren't really near the beach, so I couldn't surf. But especially North Carolina and Western North Carolina, with all the water there and all the rivers, there were a lot of places to go paddling. And that's kind of when I discovered, especially whitewater paddling. It allowed me to get the thrill and the fun of surfing and be on the water, but in a different venue and different location. And I really enjoyed it. And it's been doing it ever since. It's 20 plus years now. Oh yeah, it was definitely that moment. It was it was like January, February 2008, dead of winter. It was probably about 3 feet of snow on the ground, blizzards blowing through, and a lieutenant in our precinct, I'd gotten in a disagreement over some overtime that I was allotted. And brought in our union rep, and we sat down and had a meeting, and I had all the documentation of the time I worked, the time I checked out, the time I checked in. I had the log books from the desk sergeant. I had everything with me. They, I guess got a little upset about being proved wrong, so I was put on a pedestrian footbridge in the middle of a blizzard for about a week. That was my post, outdoors, not sitting in a car, standing in the middle of a pedestrian footbridge over about 16 lanes of highway traffic. That was when I decided that, after a career in the military, I'd had enough of having to answer to somebody else. It was a point in time in my life I was ready to be my own boss. And so I actually look back on it fondly because it was the pushing point that said, you know what, you need to get out and you need to do something else. Do something that you enjoy. Don't worry about the money so much, just do something that you're going to get up every morning and want to come to work. August 2008, Outside Magazine did an article, top 20 places or top 20 cities to live in now. And the basis of the article was kind of everyone wants to live in Boulder, everyone wants to live in Seattle, but everyone's already moved there and housing prices are astronomical. So where are the cool cities to get in now at? And Louisville was number 7 on the list. So we came down, took a look. There are more linear feet of running water and paddleable water in Kentucky than any other state in the US. A lot of people don't realize that, other than Alaska. And there wasn't really a dedicated paddle sports shop or ACA instructional school in this area. So I said, boom, we're home. And got an awesome house in the Highlands right on the park. The parks here are amazing. And I can definitely see why it was listed as one of the top 20 cities to move to and get into. Favorite flat water paddling around within a close distance to Louisville would probably be, I gotta be honest, probably be the Blue River over in Indiana. In terms of the closest, it's about 40 minutes from here. It's a scenic rated river by the state, protected wildlife and scenic rated river. It's got the limestone cliffs. Even in the dead of summer, when water flow or waterfall has not been happening, the flow can get extremely low, but because of that limestone rock base, it tends to hold water very well, and it's still paddleable very late in the summer when a lot of other places have kind of dried up. And it's just absolutely beautiful location. I really enjoy it. I think it's a great spot. Some other spots around here that we really like are Deem Lake, also over in Indiana. Harrods Creek is an awesome place right here in the city. And then within a short drive, within an hour and a half, you've got limitless possibilities. You've got the Elkhorn in Frankfort, Kentucky, which is absolutely gorgeous. Every time I go there, I see something new and different. I've seen deer, I've seen river otter, I've seen beaver, all kinds of wildlife there. You've got the Green River that flows right through Mammoth Cave National Park, which is absolutely beautiful place to go. You've got Rock Castle, is about 2.5 hours from here, south of Lexington. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful class 3 whitewater location. Great place to go camping, campground right there. The run is about 1.5 mile, 2 mile run, so it's very short. Run it multiple times during the day, great place to go. You've got the Palisades on the Kentucky River, which is just south of Lexington, where you have these 200, 300-foot limestone cliffs rising above the Kentucky River near High Bridge, Kentucky, and that's an absolutely beautiful location to go paddling at, especially in the fall when the leaves are turning. So, there's whatever your tastes are or whatever you're looking for, there's endless possibilities around the state to go to. A great place to go if you can't get out of town, you just want to get out, surf some waves, or even if you're not a whitewater paddler, there's two different positions on the Falls of the Ohio. There's the upper falls, which if they open the gates, flows right over the fossil beds, and the waves that can be formed there are the equal of almost anything else on the planet. I mean, a lot of people have heard of this one famous wave in Ontario, Canada, that a lot of the pros like to go to called Bus Eater. There's a wave of the Falls of the Ohio that's 12, 15 feet overhead. I mean, it is a huge surfable wave. But further downstream from that, near the boat ramp, are the remnants of what they think was the first dam ever built, man-made dam ever built on the Ohio. It's broken apart in a couple of different places, but by the time you get all the way down to the boat ramp and below where that is, with the water flowing through that broken dam there, it makes some great little downstream V's. And so even as you're not a whitewater paddler, you're just a river paddler, it's a great place to get out when nothing else is flowing. It's 20 minutes from downtown, and you can get out there and practice doing peel outs, you can practice doing ferries, you can practice doing eddy turns, S turns, C turns. It's a great little place to get out for the afternoon if you just want to get some training time in and just get out there and play around. One of the things that I'm working on right now with the Waterfront Development Corporation, the Louisville Community Rowing Club, and area paddling clubs is we are trying to be able to get access to and use the current rowing dock down at Towhead Island. We're trying to get access to the building, the older building that University of Louisville's rowing team is moving out of, and trying to work with them to make that kind of a community rowing and paddling center, if possible, if we can come to an agreement on that. I think having some place where the community and kids can get out on the water and paddle. And I'm not talking about me going down there and selling boats. I'm talking about getting donated boats for free so that a kid from downtown Louisville, from the inner city or the west side or the south side or wherever, can come down for the day, get in a boat, get out there and paddle around and build their confidence, and really start to see what the outdoors is about and experience that, and maybe grow to take a vested interest in it. I mean, when all you do is sit in an apartment or your house and play Xbox all day, and the river is something that's over there, Harrods Creek is something that's out there, it's where the bugs are, and I don't care if it's trashed. We have to get kids, we have to get people out there on the water and using it to make them take a vested interest in wanting to protect it. Having that facility be used for adaptive paddling programs is something we're also looking at, working with the Veterans Administration, the Wounded Warriors Project, and then also handicapped kids and people here in the city, and trying to get them out on the water. Wounded Warriors has had a lot of success with that program, whether it's rowing or paddling. A lot of guys came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, paraplegics, double amputees, and the freedom of movement that they once found and being able to walk or run around on land, they just don't have anymore. But put them in a boat and a paddle, they can be the equal or more of anybody else on the water. And to see that fire get built back in their eyes again and in their spirit, and watching their confidence and a newfound love of life grow, it's just an amazing thing. We're also working with the Parks Department. We're working with other area outdoor retailers. We're working with Metro City government. We're working with different manufacturers in outdoor retail and recreation to try and possibly bring some type of Louisville youth X Games type thing. And X Games is trademarked, so it's like X Games, but not using that name, to Louisville for spring break. Again, build an opportunity to get kids out, build their confidence, give them a chance to win a trophy or something maybe, and get them in the outdoors, and then possibly some other kid or college age person that's standing there watching these other kids paddle, rock climb, skateboard. You know, we want to have a myriad of different sports, and maybe one of those young people standing there watching this person rock climb or paddle is going to say, well, I want to try that. And right there, boom, we can sign them up and get them into the next round of the competition, even if they've never done it before. Give them the opportunity to try. Maybe they'll fall in love with it, and we've got somebody that's now converted to outdoor recreation and getting out and being healthy. We're working with a number of different people. We're putting together a statewide paddling coalition. We've been working with the Kentucky Sports Authority, the Kentucky Tourism Bureau, local different municipal tourism and development councils, and highlighting some different paddling opportunities around the state, whether it's building a whitewater park in Elkhorn City, whether it's building a whitewater park in Bardstown, which are two projects that are seeking funding right now, whether it's a statewide, maybe it's not building anything at all, it's a statewide marketing campaign to bring other people from around the country into Kentucky to spend their tourism dollars here. They just don't know what amazing paddling venues we have. So we do a nationwide marketing and advertising campaign to bring tourists here to Kentucky to spend their money within our economy. But we want to sit down with the state leaders, with the paddling community throughout the state, and outline some different projects, which ones are going to have the best return on investment or ROI, and then start funding those projects and really trying to build up paddling within Kentucky and putting it in the national spotlight. So that's probably the third project. And there's some other things, but I'm going to keep them secret for now.
Do you ever relax?
I don't ever relax. I got, if those three things that I told you right there weren't enough, then there's also teaching courses, there's advancing my own professional education as well, going to instructor updates, instructor training, volunteering my time with the Red Cross. That's one thing I enjoy. I love teaching. Teaching actually relaxes me. And so I volunteer a lot with the Red Cross. I go over there and volunteer at the chapter as much as I can, which since opening the building isn't as much as I would like, but I still do so. Teach CPR classes, wilderness first aid classes, bloodborne pathogen. I teach a number of courses with them, and I'm not paid for that. It's all volunteer, so I like doing that. And then I like just getting out and paddling as much as possible. But being on the river really relaxes me, because I usually have a lot going on in my head, a lot of different projects that I'm working on and things that I'm doing. So being out on the water really focuses you in on that moment. You're thinking about the next ferry that you need to make, the next turn you need to make. The rock that's up ahead. You can't be worried about the project that's coming up 6 months from now. You need to be thinking about what you're doing right now and be in that moment. So it kind of brings the whole world down to a pinpoint. So that really relaxes me.